So we got some more news about The Walking Dead Daryl Dixon, and in today's video I'll just be breaking down the pictures and just discussing the news and giving my own theories and speculation about it, so stay tuned. So before we actually get into the video, I'd like to ask you all to like, share, and subscribe, and thank you guys so much for the support. I really appreciate it, and just all the nice comments you guys have been leaving, I really appreciate it. So thank you guys so much. We are currently at 1,127 subscribers, so again, thank you guys so much for the support and being part of this YouTube journey. So without further ado, let's get into the video. And now the first thing I would like to talk about is the release date, and the release date for this show is September 10th, 2023, and I do think that this is a good date, right? They did say it was in fall, so it's early fall, right? So again, like, we're actually getting this show earlier than expected. I kind of thought it was late September or early October, but we're getting it early September, so that's some great news that came out of this show. And with Dead City getting into its finale next week, there's a lot of room for marketing for this show. And, we've just been getting teasers and pictures of this show, but we're not getting a full-on trailer. So my assumption is that we're going to be getting a trailer, like a full-on trailer for this show when the finale of Dead City happens next week. And now with the finale of Dead City taking place on the 20th and 23rd of July, the exact dates where San Diego Comic-Con is actually taking place, within those 3 days, it is totally possible that we could see some sort of tease or like just a full-on trailer for the Daryl Dixon spinoff. And this totally does make sense, is because whenever like the Dead City comes out, like a new episode comes out on like Sunday, they release something of the show, like probably like a teaser or like some sort of picture. So with Dead City ending with episode 6, it totally makes sense that the Daryl spinoff could be getting a full-on trailer. Now I'm not too sure if they're going to be showing it at Hall H, if they're going to be showing it like at the panel, right, for The Walking Dead, or if they're going to be showing it on cable, like on TV, and they're just going to be premiering it, right, and then they're just going to be talking about it at San Diego Comic-Con with the other spinoffs, of course, right? And now with the release date being announced today, like, it does seem like that they're not changing the title. It's going to be Daryl Dixon, right? Everyone thought it was going to be Raise the Dead. Even I thought that Daryl Dixon was a placeholder, but no, it does seem like that Daryl Dixon is the final title for this show. And personally, I would have preferred Raise the Dead. And again, I'm so confused. Why didn't they like name these spin-offs like totally different names, like how like Daryl Dixon should have been Raise the Dead and Rick and Michonne should have been Summit, whereas Dead City is Dead City. So again, it's just really confusing, but I guess they want popular characters in the title in order to get more eyes on it. And of course, with this show being Daryl Dixon focused, it makes sense to be Daryl Dixon. But again, in season 2 of this show, Carol is going to be showing up as well. So are they going to be calling it Daryl and Carol later on, or they're just going to keep it at Daryl Dixon and just have Carol in the next season? Let's just see what happens. And of course, at San Diego Comic-Con, they're going to be revealing much more information with the official trailer as well. And now one more thing when it comes to the release date of this show, I think I could actually theorize when the Rick and Michonne spinoff is going to come out and when the finale of this show is going to happen. And now with this show coming out on September 10th, for AMC Plus users, it's most likely coming out at September 7th. Now, if you go by that calendar, this show is going to be ending on October 12th. And, we could see the pattern here with like the Dead City finale and when this show is coming out. So the Dead City finale is in July, and more specifically kind of like late to mid-July. And then 2 months later, the Daryl Dixon spinoff comes out. So then if we go by that, if the Daryl Dixon spinoff ends in October, we wait 2 months after that, even we could push it to 3 months, we could assume that the Rick and Michonne spinoff will come out either late December of this year or January of next year. And I know that they did say that this show is going to be coming out in 2024. The Rick and Michonne spinoff is coming out in 2024. So I think it's a pretty safe bet to assume that the Rick and Michonne spinoff is coming out in January. And that's just one thing I wanted to point out. And now let's actually get into the pictures that they actually released today with the release date. And this is the first picture I want to talk about. It's just an explosion with Daryl pointing at a bunch of walkers. And now by the looks of these walkers, they don't look like that they're the running walkers, they just look like normal old walkers. So again, it does raise the question if running walkers will even be in this show, or if they're just saving it for season 2. I hope that running walkers are in this season and they show up more frequently, instead of being like how the mutated walker situation was in Dead City, where they had to push that all the way to the final few episodes. So I hope that running walkers are a big part of this show. And now I would like to talk about this picture right here. We see 2 nuns and Daryl laying down on a bed. And we did get a teaser a couple of days ago where we see these same nuns nursing Daryl back to health. So this moment right here is right after that first teaser we got for the show, where Daryl was actually floating on the boat and he was injured. So it looks like that these nuns find him washed up ashore and they nurse him back to health. And now this picture here doesn't really tell us much other than Daryl has a new group, and in France, they use carriages and horses like how they do in the US now in the new seasons. And the funny part about this is that Daryl is actually holding the horse lead, like the lead rope of it. And like the funny story with that is that Norman Reedus is actually scared of horses, so that's why he wanted Daryl to ride a bike most of the time. But now it looks like he's more comfortable around horses, not enough to actually ride it, but cool enough to actually hold the lead and to guide the horse. And now with this picture right here, it shows Daryl with 2 new characters. Now I'm not too sure if they actually did reveal the names of these characters, but it seems like that either Daryl is training them how to shoot an arrow, or like how to aim, or they're actually about to kill some walkers, or just some people, right? But it does seem like that these 2 are experienced and they're working with Daryl to take out whatever it is in front of them. And now here we actually do get our first look at Codron, and I assume that he's the main villain of the show because they didn't release any information about this character. Little to none is known about this character, but just because of his appearance, it does look like that he's the antagonist of this show. And I assume he might be part of the group that's actually killing the scientists that we saw at the end of World Beyond. And either he's part of those scientist groups, or he's part of the group that's actually hunting them down and killing them, like how we saw at the end of World Beyond, like when the guy actually comes and he kills the scientist that was actually behind like the virus. So his intention for this whole show could be just to hunt down all the scientists, part of Primrose and Violet. And we also do get this picture right here, and it looks like that this is the point where Daryl is walking alone, like how we saw in that one teaser, and he eventually finds that cafe or building, or potentially even that lab from World Beyond. And this does seem like it's pretty early on in the show, and to be honest, it's very good seeing Daryl alone, right? Daryl's probably the best when he's alone, and he's just on his own, and he's scavenging, and he's just coming up with these crazy ideas how to take down walkers and other people as well. So again, it's always a treat seeing Daryl alone. And now speaking of that other teaser, a lot of people have actually corrected me in the comment section saying that this is not a walkie-talkie, this is actually a voice recorder or tape recorder of some sorts. And thank you guys so much for actually correcting me on that one. It actually does make a lot of sense. Why would Daryl want to record his journey going along, just in case if he passes away or if something happens, somebody's actually able to find that recorder, probably hopefully somebody from America or Carol or somebody like that, and they're able to track him down. And I think that would be the way that Carol could actually find Daryl in France, is that if she were to come across that tape recorder or like some sort of recording of Daryl's journey, and she's able to track him down. So far this show is looking really good, right? I'm really excited for this show, and we don't know much about the plot yet, so I hope that hopefully next week we actually do get a full-on trailer and we know more about the plot, because so far we know that Daryl is going to go look for Rick. Now, the only thing that's actually worrying me about this show is that we're not seeing any running walkers yet. And, they could totally just keep that for a surprise factor, right? And just show it in the show. But I hope that they don't leave it for like the last 2 episodes or even a season 2. I hope that in the first 2 episodes, Daryl at least encounters one running walker and we see him deal with that if he has to run away or if he finds some new way to kill it. But I do think that we're going to get our first look at a running walker in the first trailer of the show, like how we saw for Dead City, where we saw the mutated walker in the end and you're just in some promotional material. So it's very possible that we could get our first look at a running walker versus Daryl in the first trailer for this show. So that's it for today's video, and just to point out, you guys could expect a new trailer next week. I'm pretty confident at that, but let's just find out when San Diego Comic-Con comes around. But I would like to ask you all to like, share, and subscribe, and thank you guys so much for the support. I really appreciate it. Thank you guys so much for helping me reach 1,000 subscribers. We are currently at 1,127 subscribers, and this growth is all because of you guys. I really appreciate it. And just comment down like any feedback you guys have, because I really want to improve upon my videos and just make the viewing experience good for all of you. So please comment down any feedback y'all have. But other than that, thank you guys so much for watching.